Hey, I'm A.V. Mitchell.
I'm Kayla Carter.
And I'm Eugene Collins.
And we're the hosts of a new interactive, informative, and empowering show called The Next Move.
Your source for solutions to improve our streets, our schools, our neighborhoods,
our churches, and solutions to make you an even better person.
Join us on Heaven 1460 WXOK.
Thank you for keeping the lock right here at WXOK, Heaven 1460. Baton Rouge's best, gotta be the baddest radio station. I'm in right now with The Next Move, the first show with Eugene Collins.
I'm Kayla Carter.
Lamont Cole.
Yes, we have Councilman Lamont Cole.
Right here, baby. I'm here for you, baby.
We live, y'all. Everybody out there in radio land. So, what's the topic for today, Eugene? I know you said we have to have Mr. Lamont Cole in the radio station today for the next move. You said we got to start it with this guy. So what you got, bro?
Man, you know, we got Brother Cole here today, man, and Councilman Lamont Cole. Let me tell you, this brother is pushing some things on the city council level. And I'm just going to say this because we're on WXOK, right? This brother is doing things that black men just don't do at the council level. So it's a pleasure to have Mr. Cole here today. And we also going to be talking just a bit, starting off with the MLK Day activities from yesterday. Yes. And my brother A.V. Mitchell, he was up there hosting some things with Casey Phillips and all those folks over there with those murals. And that was a real positive event as well. And giving a special shout out to my sisters, those founder ladies in blue and white. Happy Founders Day to Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. I love y'all. Now I'm telling you, they something else, AV.
All right, man. You know, you didn't give your shout out to your Zetas and everybody. Now let's get to Mr. Cole.
All right, let's go. This is the Cole, man. Now, I'm going to start this off, man, and I'm going to tell you, man, brother, I got a lot of respect for what you're getting done right now. But that first question, man, what's happening on the city council level here in Baton Rouge? Can you tell the listeners here on WXOK?
I mean, there's a lot happening in terms of, you know, at the city council level, we do a lot of different things. We vote on the budget, the mayor's budget for the year. We talk about different ordinances that many of us may bring to the table to try to pass to improve the city based on the lens we look through. And then, of course, we change laws, legislate laws, and that's all at the local level. So we deal with everything at the local level. Now, you know, we've had a tumultuous 2 years on the council, starting on, you know, July 5th, 2016. We had elections. We have some new council members. We've had some turbulent times in the council meetings. And so right now what we're trying to do is figure out a path to balance our city in terms of equity. Where there are good things happening in one part of the city, we want to see those things happen in other parts of the city. And what we have right now is council members are starting to recognize we have a number of people who are going to fight against the repression or the system of repression that exists here in the city. And because of that, council members are starting to lean towards saying, hey, we better do something to balance this city, to provide equity, to provide economic development, to provide opportunity for all members of the city who want it, or else we're going to have a powder keg on our hand that's ticking and will explode if we don't do something about it. So, you know, perhaps if you want me to talk about specific pieces of legislation or specific ordinances that different individuals are trying to pass, let me say with respect to all of my counterparts on the council, we are moving in a direction of trying to balance the city. Now, it's not easy because some people don't even recognize they support a system of repression, police brutality, the war on poverty, the war on the prison, the education, the prison pipeline. There are a lot of individuals who support those systems and don't recognize they do. And so what we're trying to do at the council level is help them understand that there is a better path forward. And if everyone in this city has an opportunity to be involved in what happens in this city, then this is a more prosperous city for everyone to live in.
Yeah, and Brother Lamont, you know, that's one thing that you introduced recently that I really want to ask you about. And I think this is going to have a real positive effect as we think about, you know, what jailing looks like in this city. Decriminalizing marijuana. Some folks may not be paying attention, but that's that's an ordinance that you just introduced, and I don't even know if you talked about it yet publicly, but decriminalizing marijuana has been a hot topic in this nation. And to hear that, this is something that can take place here in Baton Rouge, and that's a really progressive step. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, for years and years and years, I work with children on my day job. I've been doing it now over 20 years, and I recognize a number of individuals I've worked with and have and currently work with use marijuana. And so when we look at statistics and we look at the numbers, we recognize that alcohol consumption is far, far worse than marijuana use around the country. In the last 10 to 15 years, we've seen a surge in cities and states making the attempt to make marijuana legal. Now, we're not there yet here in this city, but where we are in the city currently is that we are able to arrest individuals for small amounts of marijuana. And what I like to see happen, we spend far too much resources, taxpayers are spending far too many resources on police officers out there arresting people, young people, for small amounts of marijuana. There's no research that suggests that decriminalizing marijuana leads to more marijuana use. In fact, it's the reverse. You decriminalize marijuana, we've seen less people using in states where it's been decriminalized. And so it's now time for us, when we look at a year in 2017 where we had over 100 homicides, and we start thinking about the resources that are being used to arrest young people for small amounts of marijuana. And I'm not just talking about young African Americans, I'm talking about young people in general. Although we know the system is lopsided, and we see the statistics show us that African American males are arrested at a rate higher than any other in our country and in the city of Baton Rouge for uses of marijuana, we have to shift those resources away from that so we can do more police work, more crime work, and help to keep our community safe. The other thing we really have to think about, if we're really talking about safety in the city of Baton Rouge, we have to change the narrative that marijuana use causes people to commit crimes or leads to negative behavior. It does not. When we look at statistics, we look at the research, we see that alcohol consumption has a far greater impact on negative behavior, has a far greater impact on people committing crimes than any other drug. And let's be clear, alcohol is a drug. I'm not talking about people, for using alcohol, because I take a libation every now and then myself. But the reality of the situation is alcohol has a far greater negative impact on our communities than marijuana ever has or ever will. There has never been any case of someone using marijuana and running off the road because they were using marijuana, or getting into a serious accident, or being arrested for a DWI because they were using marijuana. It just doesn't happen. And so I think it's time we in this city get to a point where we can decriminalize it, bring the punishment down, and then begin to use those resources in other ways. And so I'm very pleased that I have one of my Republican counterparts co-sponsoring this ordinance with me. And that is the way we have to get things done in this city. There are five. See, what people don't realize, you have to be able to count 7 at the council. Have to be able to count 7. It's only 5 Democrats, 5 blacks. I'm the only male. We'll never get to 7 with just the 5 of us, because there's only 5. The numbers just don't add up. So we have to go across the aisle. We have to work with our Republican counterparts. So I'm delighted that everything we brought to the table in 2017, I was able to work with the Republicans and get it done.
All right, that's calls for the hand clap right there.
Man, give him a big hand clap, man. And
let me clap for myself.
I'm serious, man. Lamont getting this thing done, man, and y'all heard it. And Lamont, I totally agree with you. You ain't never heard of nobody getting high and causing no harm.
Right.
Only thing they tore up was a bag of chips.
Right.
And we just got to keep it real about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that might not be popular with some folks when we on gospel radio, but you ain't never heard of them tearing up nothing but snacks. That's just what it is. And I think that's a real powerful thing, coming up here. And I really hope y'all can get that pushed.
I hope so too, man. I sincerely do.
All right, awesome. So, Kayla, do we have anything coming up in the news that you'd like to let us know about?
Yes, in entertainment, looks like Diddy just donated $200,000 to Uganda. So I think that's a very positive note, especially with that little remark that was made a week or so ago by some people about the smaller countries being, not too wealthy and good of countries to be in, but look like somebody is donating and making those countries better. So that's up next when we come back.
All right, awesome. So, Mr. Cole, how did you like the MLK celebrations on yesterday?
Well, anytime the community can come together and provide a day of service is a positive thing. I think one of the things we must recognize on MLK Day, we see across the nation a decrease in crime, a decrease in negative behavior, because most people find themselves in observance of the great man, and a lot of people, many people find themselves contributing to service projects all over the city. So yesterday was no different. Big shout out to the Walls Project and all of the individuals in the city of Baton Rouge who made that event happen. I was there, AV, you were there, Eugene, you were there. We had a really good time. I enjoyed seeing so many different people, such a diverse population of people came out on yesterday to contribute to the cleanup of the area. Now, what we have to do next, though, AV, is we have to turn those type of events into economic development and economic engines for depressed neighborhoods like the Scotlandville area, like the Eden Park area, like the Glen Oaks area. All these areas in our city that are suffering from depression in terms of economic drivers. We have to turn events like that into an economic engine for those areas. The other thing we have to do is we have to have more of those events. We can't just have them on MLK Day. We should be doing community service projects like that once a week. Once a week, people of all different diverse backgrounds should be coming together to clean up the community, to help keep our city clean, to start cleaning up blighted property in our community, to attract economic investment, and to start doing things in our city we know will help push our city forward and make it a more balanced city to live in. I keep using that word balance for this reason. What is and what exists in one part of town is not the same as what is and what exists in the other part of town. And until we have balance in the city, we're not going to see the type of decrease in crime we want to see. We're not going to see the type of equity in our education system we want to see, and we're definitely not going to see the type of equity in the economic development we see all over the city. So there has to be a real push towards balancing our city in terms of the way people live. This is not a race thing as much as it's a class thing.
Okay, so you guys heard it right here from Councilman Lamont Cole that MLK Day needs to be every day. And as far as the activities that are going on down there at the council meetings, I'm pretty sure he has his thumb right there on it, trying his best to make everyone happy that elected him for that position. And we support you, Councilman Cole.
Fight for the people, baby. May not be the way you want me to sometimes. But understand, when 2020 comes and you look at the record,
come on,
we will have, not me, but we, because I can't do this by myself, the constituents I represent and the people we serve, we will have done more in 4 years than a whole lot of people do their entire 12 years on the council, because it's about the work, it's about the people, it's about making this place a better city for us to live in.
All right, so y'all heard it right here on The Next Move. I'm A.V. Mitchell.
I'm Kayla Carter.
I'm Eugene Collins.
And we are The Next Move, guys. We have Kirk Effum coming up very soon. But also we're going to hear a little bit more from Councilman Lamont Cole. But right now, please enjoy this Jesus Train. Thank you for keeping that locked right here at WXOK, Heaven 1460. This is The Next Move with A.V. Mitchell,
Kayla Carter,
and Eugene Collins.
And we have Councilman Lamont Cole in the building. Eugene Collins, what we got, bro?
Man, I'm going to be closing out with Cole in just a second. But before we get to that, I'm going to toss it over to Miss Carter. She got some world news for you. And I'm going to tell you what. This sister fresh, boy. I'm going to tell you what. You got to be fresh when the feds watch, right?
Well, thank you, Mr. Gene, for that great intro. Guys, I do have some information, world news. Not the best news, but I was reading. And actually, a Carolina Panthers employee, she actually committed suicide. And actually, she took her 2 kids' life. So she jumped off of a bridge, but before that, she actually killed her 2 kids. They did survive for a while, but shortly after at the hospital, they died, of course. This all coincides with our segment, What Does God Say? So I did pick one scripture. It's very short, not a long scripture at all, but it's actually out of Psalms. If I can pop it up here.
You're supposed to know that by heart.
You know what? Shh, don't tell my pastor, okay? Don't tell my pastor. And went to church 2 times Sunday, but that's beside the point. But in either case, it was a scripture basically saying that in times you will have trouble, but in those times, be sure, that's the time to come to God, and then also turn to people around you. And I just wanted to speak briefly on it to say a lot of people sometimes think that you're crazy, or, if you go see a psychiatrist or get a therapist, that, you're mentally insane, but that is not the case. You actually need help. So with this lady, I was reading, her family said she was a very sweet woman, but she did have troubles and trials and tribulations. So, if you know someone, or it appears that someone is going through something, don't ever be afraid to ask them for help, or, even to say, look, I'll go with you to a therapist if you want to. It's a lot of help out there, and mental issues is one of the biggest things, and not even just Louisiana, but all over the world. So,
okay, so let's pray for the family. Let's pray for the team, everyone that's affected. And you said, what did God say about that?
Yeah.
All right, so I want to know what God said about this snow. Because in Louisiana, we only pray for snow once a year.
Right.
And that's Christmas.
Exactly.
We got on the way to the station, it was snowing.
It was snowing within hours, within 2 hours. It wasn't snowing 2 hours ago. And literally, it's like you need salt.
We need everyone that's under the listening ear of WXOK to text your cousins and say, stop speeding in the snow.
Yes, please don't speed, guys.
Yes, it gets cold, it gets slippery, and it won't be good. All right, so I'm going to toss this back to Eugene. We've talked about some entertainment news. We talked about the good, a little bit of the bad, and we actually, what did God say? We're talking about the temperature. Now, let's talk about Councilman Lamont Cole.
Councilman Cole, recently there was a teacher in Vermilion Parish that was removed from the meeting for basically challenging the school, the superintendent's salary. Actually, I'm about to say the school board president, but she challenged the superintendent's salary, and she was removed from that meeting and later arrested in the hallway. And right at that moment, it drew stark contrast to what happened here in Baton Rouge when myself and 2 other community members were removed from that meeting for discussing an item on the agenda that night. And I'm, and just to be totally fair, you were one of those guys that stood up for us. You weren't the only one, but you were one of the folks that stood up for us that night. But what bothered me was the response that this woman got. It was very positive, that was a clear violation of our First Amendment rights, right? But the response to us, when we were kicked out of the council meeting, and we were on topic, and that's a debate, but we were on topic. But when we were kicked out of the council meeting, the response to that was negative. Lamont, they called me some things I ain't heard nobody call me in a long time over there since I was in South Baton Rouge. it hit me hard. But what's your response to that, and why do you think the response is different?
Well, this is not going to be popular, but let's be clear. It was a white woman who was being arrested at a school board meeting who happens to be a teacher. We're talking about African-American males who are citizens of this community who were arrested for speaking out at a council meeting. The reality of this situation is African-American males, white woman. We have a sensitivity in this country to what happens with white women. And so when that woman was shown on television being arrested and taken out for standing up for teachers, it was seen as something wrong. When black men were seen on TV being arrested, which is an image they show all the time on media and media outlets, for standing up for people, for standing up for Alton Sterling, it was seen as something wrong. So at the end of the day, what the individuals who were choosing to fight for by some was considered wrong, and which is hypocritical, because at the end of the day, if you believe the woman in Vermilion Parish being arrested for speaking out at a school board meeting was wrong, you have to believe the individuals who were arrested at the council meeting back in August were just being arrested is just as wrong. And if you don't, then you're a hypocrite. I saw our governor come out and speak against saying we have to raise our teachers up, we have to, change the narrative, we have to respect them more. Well, at the end of the day, we have to respect our citizens more, we have to lift them up. Those who choose to engage in the process of standing up for what is wrong. And then if you don't support that, then you yourself don't recognize you're supporting those same systems I discussed of police repression, police harassment, the school to prison pipeline, the war on the poor, and this war on class, which says the haves can do whatever they want and the have-nots are not allowed, and we can violate their First Amendment rights. So I think it was wrong. As a representative of the council, I apologize to those individuals who were arrested. And I think what you've seen at the council is more tolerance for what people come to that mic and say with their 3 minutes. Because as I've stated publicly and privately on numerous occasions, what an individual chooses to say during his or her 3 minutes in the public comment section of a council meeting is his or her business. As long as they're not being disrespectful to anyone in the room or any member of the council, as long as they're not telling anyone's personal business or calling people out, if they choose to come up and say Peaches over and over and over and over again, or get up and sing the 112 song Peaches and Cream, that's his or her business. We cannot say what you're saying is off topic, because at the end of the day, No one can dictate to an individual what their opinion is. And so I think it was wrong, flat out wrong, and we shouldn't be allowing it to happen at the council level. And so I applaud those who challenge the process and who challenge the system.
Look, you say you can say whatever you want to say in the council meeting, right?
You should be able to.
You should be able to.
During your 3-minute public comment section.
I was about to say, because next council meeting, I'm coming in there, and it's on TV. So I'm going to say Mike A.V. Mitchell on Facebook, AV_Mitchell on Instagram.
Hey, I support your right to free speech during the public comment section of the meeting.
Yes, sir. Awesome. And we support you, sir. That's why you're sitting right here with us today, helping us to launch this show. And you guys have just heard Councilman Lamont Cole. If people want to get in touch with you, or if they just want to follow you on social media, how do they do so?
Oh, man, look. My social media is the same as my God-given government name, Lamont Cole for everything. Lamont Cole on Instagram, Lamont Cole on Snapchat, Lamont Cole on Facebook, Lamont Cole on Bebo. We don't even have that no more. I'm the same cat everywhere I go.
Bebo. Lord, that man, he did say Bebo, y'all. He said that.
Bebo, all that.
So with that being said, we about to transition right now. Y'all, we're gonna give a quick hand clap real quick to the studio audience and the audience out there listening in your cars at your house for Councilman Lamont Cole.
Give it up for me. Let's make some noise. We got Kirk Effum coming up next. Let me tell you something. Y'all need to get this done. The right type of intro for the work he's doing in this city. I'm telling you right now.
This man, he done knocked my microphone loose.
You know, I can talk, but that's a hard act to follow.
We are making a transition right now, guys. You are catching this live. This is a live show for everybody that's listening in Radio Land. We are WXOK Heaven 1460. Baton Rouge's best, gotta be the baddest radio station. And I'm A.V. Mitchell. Eugene Collins just stepped out real quick. But then we have
Kayla Carter.
And we also have Kirk Effum. He's an awesome guy who's doing awesome work right here in the city of Baton Rouge. He does the tattoos. He's feeding the homeless. He's doing things consistently, and I know he's doing much more than that. That's just what you can see. But his consistency is the thing that makes me support his move so strongly. So Kirk, man, we appreciate you giving us your time today in the snow. You know,
we didn't expect the snow, so
we didn't expect it. But the brother's faithful. He said, "I'm coming anyway, man." He got a big truck, so it's probably easier for him to get here than it was for me.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
How's your day going, sir?
I can't complain, but I don't like the cold at all. I don't like it. It's not. I'm a southern tropical person.
You're a tropical person.
Yeah, I'm a tropical person. I'm not with this.
I understand, man. So tell me this: what is the next move for It Takes a Village? Because that is the well. Tell us a little bit about it. It Takes a Village, and what's not the next move, but how did you guys get started?
I tell the same story all the time. We didn't actually start it.
Mm-hmm.
We kept it going.
Okay.
You know, so it's basically a bunch of people. It's real simple. A bunch of caring people come together. And we support, the community. And we started off with, the people that people don't really pay too much attention to, and that's the homeless. So we started there, and we're moving up to, to a level of like poverty, and we're trying to go beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make the whole community come together. More like, you ever heard the story of a stone soup?
Tell me about that, man.
You never heard the story of stone soup?
I'm gonna look it up. It might be too long.
Wow, no.
You got Tony Satchel?
No, you got Tony Satchel. But it's basically about a stranger that came through a town, and the stranger came through, and the people wasn't too receptive to the stranger, and the stranger just wanted, a night to stay, and it was like, well, you can't stay here, you can't eat here, we don't have no food, and the stranger said, that's all right, you put me up, I'll make stone soup for the whole village.
Wow.
And they was like, okay. So, he pulled the stone out, threw it in some water and started boiling it. And, he said, well, this going to be a great soup, but it'll be even better if we had some cabbage. So, so somebody ran up and like, I got some cabbage. They threw it in there. And it goes on. He keep mentioning stuff like carrots and meat and, stuff like that. Tony Satchel.
Yeah.
He keeps mentioning stuff until like the soup becomes like this gorgeous meal for the whole, and they all celebrated, and the king show up and can I buy that stone? He's like, nah, you can't buy my stone. So he pack up his stone, he leave. But on the way out, he run into some kids, and he give the kids the stone. He tell the kids it wasn't the stone; it was the villagers that made that happen.
Wow.
So I'm trying to express that to everybody. It don't take much to make something happen.
Come on.
A little piece here, a little piece there. Before you know it, we got what we need.
Okay. So you said you guys didn't start it. You just kept it going. And like I said, that's one thing that really inspires me to get involved in this movement at the opportunities that I have to do so, because it's consistent. It's always there. If I hit you up and I ask you, hey, Kirk, what you guys need today? You like, hey, bro, we can have this. But you're never too pushy about it. You never pushy at all. You're like, hey, V, if you come out and do this, do it, man. But we're going to be here. We serving. I saw a pic on Instagram the other day, and that thing had like one pair of shoes sitting up there. You was like, hey, this is what we got for the people today. But this is how amazing this move is. You might see one pair of shoes when you come, but before long, you see a lot of shoes out there. And everybody's, that's there is getting what they need. I mean, they have a chance to actually pick what they want.
Right.
I've
It's
been
like
there
a free
before and seen
market.
it.
I love it. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced in my life. I'm 45, and this is I can't top this.
So what inspires you, bro?
What inspires me?
Other than the soup.
It gotta be God, man. That's all I can say right now. I just do everything according to His will. I call myself a puppet. God's puppet. So when He say do it, I just do it. No matter what. We go out there. It could be snowing. It could be hurricane, flood. We have not missed a Sunday in 3 years.
Yeah.
No matter what's going on, we out there. So. And He always shows, anytime I want to doubt and be like, I want to stay inside, it's too cold, or some people calling me like, look, the weather bad, we're not going to make it. He always shows that, He can make a way. I remember this one time it was storming. It was storming so bad. People was calling me like, are we still going? And I'm sitting there like, man, I should call it off. Yeah. And someone was like, get up. So I got up, I went to Walmart, and I bought some ponchos, and it was probably about 3 of us out there, but as soon as we got out there, the rain just stopped.
Come on, man.
And it didn't start again until we were done.
Won't He do it?
Won't
He do
Really
it?
won't.
This is WXOK, Heaven 1460. We say the Lord, inspires me. He say I keep on going. They were about to cancel church outside, but I went and got some ponchos.
Yeah, it made it happen.
And look, I say that because, man, I was going to a church, bro. And I'm serious. You see how it's snowing out there? Man, Pastor would have told us, man, look, y'all went to the football game. Y'all better come to church. Pastor would have had us at church.
You saw them Jags.
Yeah. So come on. So that's what I admire about this organization. So many things I admire about the organization, but that's one thing in particular. Tell me this, bro. How can someone donate to It Takes a Village?
We have a PayPal, and you can go through the email, which is ittakesavillage.br@gmail.com. We have a website, which is ittakesavillage.br.org. There's various ways, or you can, if you're in local, you can contact any one of us, and we'll meet up with you and pick up stuff for you. You can give whatever you want. We don't really demand people to give a lot. It's just whatever you can give, we make it happen with it.
Okay, see, Kayla Carter right here, man, one of the hosts on this show. Every now and then she hears something somewhat inspirational. Like we might say something and it triggers something in her, and she just want to give us a quote or something. So what's our inspirational moment for the day, Ms. Kayla?
Yes, sir. Well, actually, yes, following behind MLK Day, I heard this one. The time is always right to do what is right. That was by Martin Luther King Jr. So that means no matter what it is, always do right. I don't care if you're at work and you're like, should I steal these paper clips or not? Don't steal a paper clips. Do what's right and go buy you some paper clips. So always do what's right. And that's my motivational moment.
That's so innocent. Y'all heard that, guys?
That's
Kirk,
how simple it can be.
Kirk, she say steal the paper clip.
Yeah, I was wondering where that came
Be
from.
convicted over right condemnation over here. Look at paper clips.
Somebody in their car right now hiding paper
They
clips.
don't.
They like, she's saying paper
I'm
clip.
glad she didn't say Staples.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We got people that been stealing people lunch every day at work. People like, I know I had 2 Lunchables up in here. One for Thursday, one for Friday.
But nobody's seen it.
Yeah, ain't nobody seen it, huh? All right. So, Kirk, man, what's the next move for you guys?
The biggest thing we trying to do right now is to make sure people don't get back on the streets.
Okay.
You know, I like to big up the mayor. She's been a great help. I mean,
applause for the mayor.
yeah, applause for the mayor. She put together a little team to help us, you know, get people permanent off the streets. And since December 6th, we've gotten at least 17 off the streets.
Wow.
You know, and people might not think that's a lot, but
That's a whole lot.
That's a whole
In a
lot.
short span.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now we're trying to come up with a plan to make sure they don't get back on the streets. You know, we run into, you know, bumps and you know, dealing with transportation and how they're gonna pay their utilities in the places that we got them. But you know, it's gonna happen. You know.
Awesome, man. That those bumps come, but man, you keep going because I know that there's someone that's looking forward to seeing y'all out there every day that you come. And man, you inspire me to just see what is it that I can do in that area. And I believe that if I saw this at the MLK event yesterday, shout out to the Walls Project for that Futures Fund, that you had a lot of different organizations, and these people do one thing great and they stick to that. You know, and when all of us do those great things and we come together, it's like an automobile, like a post I made this morning. I said, together we're a vehicle, but apart we're just a bunch of parts. You know, we're looking for something to get connected to so we can be greater. So with what you guys
like
are
the
doing,
soup, man.
that's like the soup,
man.
just like the soup.
It's like the soup, man. People don't
Together.
realize it, man. It's simple. It's so simple because people ask me all the time, like, how you do this or how can I do it in my town? I say it's simple. You know, you can start small. It don't have to be a big event or, you know, nothing like that. You can start small. You know, some people don't know, like, if you done did something for a person, you probably did more than probably about 20 people you know. You know? So, I mean, just be inspired by that. You know, start small. Just, you know, try to help out your neighbor or somebody in the neighborhood. You know, and eventually, you know, people will catch on and join in with you, and before you know it, it'll grow.
So, Kirk, if anybody out here in Radio Land, anybody on Facebook or Instagram watching this video wants to know how they can get in touch with you to either, send a donation your way or even to just ask you a question, because they may want to start something like this, but you said it's simple. They might think it's difficult because, you have guys out there cooking. You have different volunteer groups come out there and they set up the tables. It's a machine.
Yeah, it's a machine. But it's just everybody just putting their little piece in there. That's
it. It's the soup.
I got this, it's the soup. You know what I'm saying? Like when you brought that cake out, man, I love that cake. I wanted to take it for myself.
Yeah.
You came out there with Dr. Pepper cake. I was like, I ain't never seen Dr. Pepper cake before.
Look, man, I was like, I got a little money, not a whole lot right now, but man, I want to help Kirk today. I want to do something. So I'm like, hey, bro, y'all got dessert? He was like, bring it. I'm like, bet. So I rolled up with about 5-6 cakes. I'll take them, man.
That goes a long way, man. We do numbers. We do at least over 2.
Possibly have a significant other. How do your loved ones and people close to you handle that? Are they pretty understanding when it comes to you, doing community work? Do they get involved with you?
They get involved.
That's awesome.
They dig in.
Yeah.
I love it. It's not just me. It's a team effort.
Correct.
I love everybody that comes out. Even if you came out there one time, like I love you for it.
Right.
That just shows me that it is, possible for the world to become better if we all just give a little more of ourselves.
Sounds like you gained family.
Oh yeah, we all family now.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's awesome.
It's a beautiful thing.
Man, this has been an awesome segment of The Next Move. I'm looking forward to the rest. And man, we got to get you back on the show.
Anytime, man.
Because we need to know, different things you have coming up in the future, different ways we can, because you say there's like 200 people out there. These people didn't pay a dime. They just came out for you guys to love on.
We have
man.
fun too, man.
Yeah.
It's great. It reminds me of Family Day in the Park. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's without the fighting though.
Leave that out.
But I love it. We got to stop looking at people and judging them based on their financial status or their walk of life. We got to stop that, man. When people need help, man. I know my time is short and it's getting there, so I want to do what I can while I'm here. In any way possible, by what I'm doing with the outreach, by speaking to the youth, by empowering people. Man, we got to do this. Like, we don't have that time. People think they got time in the world to do this. No, we don't. We have to do it now, man. We're not promised tomorrow.
You're not promised tomorrow.
Time stands for tomorrow it might end.
Hashtag.
Wow. Time stands for tomorrow it might end. Now, see, I know a couple people at a few churches. So to my preachers listening, if you preach time, tomorrow it might end, the word gonna get back. So just say, I heard that on WXOK Heaven 1460, and that guy, Kirk Effum, they be feeding them people over there down on the North Street Bridge said that. Go ahead and make sure you know about that. So tell us real quick before we go, your tattoo shop, man. What's up with that?
It's Effum Underground. It's on Florida Boulevard. And I've been in business for 20 years. Thank the Lord for that. I've been empowering black artists in Baton Rouge for 20 years. And, tattoo. Come get a tattoo, You get a tattoo from me, I'm going to use that money to help people. That's all I do.
That's it. So, y'all church folks that ain't scared of tattoos. Well, I don't know. I ain't going to tell you that. Y'all going to say, J. Michael? A.V. Mitchell? I don't know. He been trying to get us to get tattoos.
When so, get a cross, and some people get Jesus on
them. Get a piercing too.
There you go.
There,
a piercing.
Or scripture.
Lord, let me go for the shut down the station. This is WXOK. 1460 with me, A.V. Mitchell.
Kayla Carter.
Eugene Collins.
Hold on, we're going to get it closer to the mic, y'all. A.V. Mitchell.
Kayla Carter.
And Eugene Collins.
This is The Next Move. We've had Lamont Cole on the show. We've had my dude, Kirk Effum, on the show. All of them are doing great work in the community. We're giving you your entertainment, a little motivation. And what we want you to do is go to our website. That's www.thenextmove.com. Go there. We have a link on there where you can subscribe to us and let us know. Well, first you subscribe. We get your email. We can send you alerts. But you can also go to our Facebook page, which is The Next Move. That's DA Next Move. And once you go there, you can comment under this video. Let us know your thoughts. You can inbox us and also let us know anything that you want us to talk about. Someone that may want to be a guest on the show. And we also encourage you to go to WXOK, which is Heaven 1460 on Facebook, Heaven 1460 on Instagram, and Heaven 1460 on Twitter. Show the page some love because they showing us some love, y'all, by letting us bring this great new innovative show that's progressive to your station. And I'm A.V. Mitchell. I'm closing it out right now, y'all. We've had a great time. Y'all drive careful out there in that snow. We are The Next Move, about to pay some bills on WXOK Heaven 1460.
Hi, this is Donnie McClinton, and I've got a personal note that I'd like to drop in. I want to warn some of you all. Watch your association. Birds of a feather flock together. Quote simply means that.
See y'all later, man. Hey, y'all go watch the other video that we got on, alright? Check that out.
So who is it?
Hey, I'm A.V. Mitchell.
I'm Kayla Carter.
And I'm Eugene Collins.
And we're the hosts of a new interactive, informative, and empowering show called The Next Move.
Your source for solutions to improve our streets, our schools, our neighborhoods,
our churches, and solutions to make you an even better person.
Join us
on Heaven 1460 WXOK.